Welcome to the First Contact War. Forget little green men. Forget flying saucers. The universe didn't send diplomats, it sent geoengineers. They are the Silicoid Hegemony, but the grunts on the ground call them the glasswalkers. They are entities of pure living silica, towering, faceless constructs of shifting crystal that move with a terrifying, silent grace. They don't want our resources. They don't want slaves. They want stillness. They view organic life, chaotic, wet, messy life, as an infection of disorder. Their invasion isn't a war, it's a sterilization process. They project a localized vitrification field that instantly transmutes organic carbon into crystalline silica. When they landed in Neo-Viridia, the city didn't burn. It froze. In an hour, a metropolis of 10 million people became a silent graveyard of statues. Skyscrapers turned into towering pillars of quartz. Cars rolling down the highway became fragile sculptures. And the people, whole crowds caught mid-scream, mid-run, turned into glittering brittle glass statues, trapped forever in the last second of their lives. A standard kinetic bullet hits a glass walker and just glances off its faceted hide, refracting light. Energy weapons just make them glow brighter, feeding their internal matrix. The Federation realized that you can't shoot something that is harder than diamond. But you can break it. Every piece of crystal in the universe has a resonant frequency, a note that, if played loud enough, will shake it apart on a molecular level. They sent us the 1st Resonance Battalion, the Shatter-Squad. We don't carry rifles. We carry massive, shoulder-mounted acoustic projectors, thumper cannons, capable of generating 200 decibel blasts of focused infrasound. Our tanks are mobile emitter arrays that look like giant tuning forks on treads. Our armor is lined with acoustic dampeners because if our own weapons feedback hits us, it liquefies our insides. I am Captain Vance, and my job is to find the exact note that makes an alien god explode into dust. We dropped into Neo-Viridia via low-altitude acoustic-shielded pods. The silence of the city was the first thing that hit us. It wasn't a peaceful quiet, it was the tomb-like stillness of a world encased in crystal. The streets were lined with the glittering statues of the former inhabitants, refracting the sunlight in macabre rainbows. Boots on the ground. Check dampers. If you hear ringing, pop your seals and repressurize. We are walking into a glassware shop with sledgehammers. I ordered over the bone conduction comms. The sound of our heavy boots crunching on the silica-dusted pavement was deafening in the quiet. We moved toward the city center where the alien spire, a kilometer-high needle of shifting glass, was anchoring their vitrification field. We made contact 3 blocks later. It stepped out from behind a crystalline skyscraper. A glasswalker warrior. It was 3 meters tall, a humanoid shape composed of thousands of interlocking razor-sharp prisms. It moved without a sound, light bending around its form, making it hard to focus on. It didn't raise a weapon. It just looked at us with a faceless, faceted head. And then the air around it began to shimmer. The vitrification field. Contact front. Vibration detected, yelled Sergeant Dax, his scanner screaming as the wave approached. The field hit Private Jenkins on point. He didn't even have time to scream. 1 second he was a Marine in heavy armor, the next he was a perfect, unmoving statue of quartz. His armor, his flesh, his blood, all turned to glass instantly. He fell forward. The sound of him hitting the pavement wasn't a thud. It was the sickening, high-pitched crash of 1,000 pounds of fine crystal shattering into 1,000,000 pieces. Rage, cold and sharp, flooded my system. Tuning forks up. Find the frequency. Shatter that bastard. I roared, shouldering my thumper cannon. We opened up. This wasn't gunfire. It was a physical assault of sound. The cannons bucked violently, emitting a subsonic pulse that blurred my vision even through the dampeners. WB crack. The sound waves hit the glass walker. At first, nothing happened. The creature just stood there, refracting the energy. Frequency mismatch. Dial it up. Try 400 Hz base wave. I ordered. Dax adjusted his emitter dial. The pitch changed, becoming a grinding vibration that I felt in my teeth. That was the one. The glass walker stopped moving. Its perfect, faceted surface began to shudder. Spiderweb cracks, glowing with internal blue light, appeared on its chest plate. It emitted a sound of its own, a high-pitched, crystalline shriek of agony as its molecular bonds began to fail. Hit it again. Max volume. We poured the sound onto it. The vibrations were so intense that the glass windows of the surrounding buildings blew out, raining shards down on us. The alien couldn't hold its form. The cracks spread, covering its entire body. With a sound like a collapsing chandelier, the 3-meter-tall entity exploded outwards. It didn't die, it ceased to be a cohesive object, turning into a cloud of glittering silica dust that coated our armor. We stepped over the pile of alien glitter and pushed forward. The spire was reacting. The massive structure in the distance began to pulse with light, and the ground beneath us vibrated. "They know the song now, Captain," Dax grunted, wiping dust from his visor. "Here comes the choir." From the avenues ahead, dozens of glasswalkers emerged, gliding silently over the vitrified streets. They were moving in unison, their internal lights synchronized. They weren't just attacking, they were combining their fields, creating a massive glass tsunami. A rolling wave of transmutation energy headed straight for us. "Form the line. Bring up the big fork." Our heavy support tank rumbled forward, its massive twin-emitter dishes angling toward the oncoming horde. The tank anchored itself, driving stabilizers into the glass pavement. "Charging main array. Decibel output at 250. 300. Warning, structural damage to surrounding environment imminent," the tank commander reported. "Fire when ready. Break the world." I screamed as the wave of alien energy washed over the first line of buildings, turning them instantly into fragile sculptures. The tank fired. It wasn't a sound you heard. It was a sound that hit you like a physical punch to the chest. The air in front of the tank compressed into visible shockwaves. The ground rippled. The very atoms of the air were being violently shaken. The sound wave hit the incoming glass tsunami. The effect was apocalyptic. The wave of energy shattered mid-air, dissipating into harmless light. The wall of sound kept going, slamming into the army of glasswalkers. It was a massacre of physics. The lead aliens didn't just crack, they were atomized instantly, turning into plumes of white dust. The ones behind them stumbled, their bodies vibrating uncontrollably, limbs snapping off before they too exploded. It was a chain reaction of destruction, a domino effect of shattering crystal. We advanced behind the wall of sound, firing our personal cannons to clean up the stragglers. We were walking through a blizzard of razor-sharp diamond dust. Our armor was scratched and pitted, our acoustic dampeners failing, blood trickling from our noses from the sheer pressure. We reached the base of the spire. It was immense, a towering monument to stillness. It was the source of the field, the heart of the invasion in this sector. "Tank needs a recharge cycle. We have to hold the base until it can fire on the spire itself." Dax yelled over the ringing in our ears. The spire defended itself. It didn't send soldiers. It pulsed, sending out waves of pure force that knocked us off our feet. It was trying to solidify the air in our lungs. I stood up, my vision blurring. I saw Jenkins' shattered remains near the plaza entrance. A boot here, a piece of a helmet there, all glass. "Not today, you shiny bastards," I growled, spitting blood inside my helmet. I bypassed the safeties on my thumper cannon, routing raw power from my suit's core to the emitter. "Squad, overload your emitters. Aim for the base. We make our own music." We lined up, 6 humans against a kilometer of alien geoengineering. We pulled our triggers and held them down. The sound we made was the scream of a species refusing to go quietly. Our cannons glowed red-hot. The vibrations were tearing our own armor apart at the rivets. The base of the spire began to glow. The perfect, smooth glass started to fault. Deep, grinding cracks appeared, racing up the side of the structure like lightning bolts. The spire shrieked, a sound that cracked the pavement beneath our feet. "It's resonating. Keep pushing." The tank commander's voice cut through the static. Main array recharged. Firing for effect. The tank unleashed one final, earth-shattering blast directly into the compromised base of the spire. The structure couldn't take it. The resonant vibration reached critical mass. The entire kilometer-high tower seemed to hang in the air for a second, glowing blindingly white. And then it fell. It didn't tip over. It collapsed straight down into itself, a billion tons of alien crystal exploding into dust simultaneously. The shockwave of silica and sound flattened us, burying us in a dune of glittering sand. Silence returned to Neo Viridia. We dug ourselves out of the dust piles. The air was clear. The shimmering vitrification field was gone. The sun beat down on a city that was still half glass, but the threat was neutralized. I stood on a mound of alien dust, looking at the ruin of the spire. We were battered, deafened, and our gear was wrecked. But we were flesh and blood. "Status check," I rasped, my voice barely audible even to myself. "Dax, alive." "Can't hear a damn thing, Cap." "Rhea, alive." "My cannon is melted slag." We had done it. We had looked at perfection and decided it needed to be broken. Humanity had just proven its first major point in the extinction war. The universe might be full of terrifying, advanced, beautiful things that want to impose their order on us. They might be harder than diamond and silent as the grave. But we found their note. And we proved that if you can't cut it and you can't burn it, you can always just scream at it until it shatters. We are the Shatter-Squad. And we just cleared the dance floor.